Welcome back everyone, Energy Fabricator here. I've been collecting a whole bunch of stuff recently and I thought I'd make a quick video to show you what I've got. The first place I went to was back to my ceramic bakelite manufacturer, and it was good timing because they were decommissioning a machine and they threw out this whole roll of insulating material. It's like a gasket, sort of high voltage insulator. If I can zoom in there for you, you can see it's nice and thin. It's 0.38 of a millimeter, and I've got a whole roll of that there. The other thing they were throwing out was this 600 millimeter wide roll of the same stuff, and I've also got another roll sitting inside that roll. So you can see that there's a few meters on this roll here, and I also picked up a whole bunch of smaller bits and pieces. I got some heavy wall tubing there, a whole bunch of these small pieces here, just a variety of offcuts, and the prize piece was this tube here. It's a pretty heavy wall tube. I'll take you right onto the inside there. Again, ceramic bakelite. It's pretty heavy stuff. Now I've got a guy working on the inside for me now. He's going to be putting all of the heavy wall tubing aside for me that they throw out. Sometimes there's just a surface blemish and they throw the whole tube out. So he's going to be putting them aside for me so I won't miss out. Now I also caught up with Harvey, who was kind enough to give me a whole bunch of stuff that he was trying to get rid of because he's moving house, and he gave me this Mercury filled temperature gauge here, and it's all industrial quality stuff made for high pressure applications. So you can see some pretty heavy duty fittings on the end of this stem here. Very good quality stuff, so thanks Harvey. He's also given me this pressure gauge, safety glass on the front. So again, pretty heavy duty stuff. And the other cool piece that he had was this vacuum gauge. Goes down to minus 100 kPa, which is the same as saying minus 30 inches of mercury. So yeah, again, good quality stuff. And he also gave me this 20 volt 2 amp power supply, so I'm sure that'll be useful for something. When I was at Harvey's house, he told me he was going to throw this old 3-phase motor out, so I thought I might as well take it. I don't have any applications for it yet, but I'm sure it will come in useful later on down the track. It's not exactly the biggest 3-phase motor you'll ever come across. It's only a 3 kilowatt unit, but I took it nonetheless. Now Harvey was also kind enough to give me a whole bunch of fittings that he had no use for, so I'll show you what he's given me. All these fittings here are all stainless steel, 6mm hose to 1/8 BSPT threaded connection. I think there's about 25 in that bag there. He's also given me these 8mm fittings here, and these are also 8mm fittings. These connectors are again stainless steel, pretty good stuff, no plastic in there at all. I've got a whole bunch of compression style fittings from him there, and he also gave me a valve which is just like a closed valve there, and pull it back for open, so that'll be pretty handy. And I also found, I can't remember where I got this from, but it's a Swage Lock quick connect fitting, brand new, unused, so that will definitely be useful. So now I don't really have to worry about being selective with my fittings, because these fittings can get expensive after a while. So now I've got all of these, didn't have to pay a cent for them, so I'm pretty happy with the collection that I've got. This is all my 6mm stuff up here, and the 8mm fittings down here, some valves there, and all my bigger fittings are in another box somewhere. But now I've got a bit of a selection to choose from when I'm building all my vacuum chambers. I already had 2 or 3 neon sign transformers, but I had a chance to catch up with Carl, and he's been very kind and given me a few more. So I've got a whole bunch of them sitting on the ground there next to my X-ray transformer, and I'll just go and tell you what size these are. I've got a 12 kV at 30 milliamps, 15 kV at 30 milliamps, 15 kV at 24 milliamps. I've got 2 at 15 kV, each one is at 60 milliamps, and this one here is a 6.5 kV at 120 milliamps. I've also got another 15 kV 30 milliamp transformer somewhere else. I think it's on the bench somewhere. So I've got enough to get me out of trouble. Now Harvey also gave me this vacuum pump here. Now the only thing that's wrong with it is that this switch is broken, so I'll have to replace that. We can either set it to full pumping speed or controlled pumping speed by way of this potentiometer here, and we've got the input and output over on this side here. So I'll do a bit of work and replace that, and I'll also take the head off of it here because it sounds a bit rough sometimes, and then we'll give it a test under vacuum and see what the gauge tells us. As usual, when you're salvaging, you can't go past a microwave oven, so here's one that I've already stripped down. Got an old stereo that I've stripped down there, another microwave in my wheelbarrow here, and a few TV circuit boards that I've been stripping down as well. Here's some of the parts that I've taken out of those microwaves. I've got a couple of high voltage transformers there. I've got a magnetron and a couple of capacitors. I've got everything from high voltage caps to resistors, switches, high voltage fuses, high voltage diodes, bits and pieces. I was also driving home the other day, and I was passing a service station which was getting refurbed, and they had an old HVAC unit outside. So I pulled up and asked the electrician, and he said to help myself. So I took it all apart. I was able to salvage this fan speed controller. As you can see, the sensing wire here has been cut off, but this thing here, all it does is activates this contactor here, and we can adjust the setting with a screw on the side here, but we can just remove that and just tap a hole into the side there and have a manual adjustment if we wanted to, or I could put a solenoid actuated switch or something into the side there and automate it that way instead. So I might play with that, I might not. But as well as that, when I took that HVAC unit apart, I was able to salvage this DIN rail here, and we have a 20 amp contactor block. I've got a circuit breaker here which is rated to 16 amps, and a whole bunch of terminal blocks here. And this contactor was pretty cool because not only is it a 20 amp contactor, but it also has 2 auxiliary 10 amp contacts on the top. They all work together, and it also came with this relay which was connected to the output here. I'll remove that for the time being. This circuit breaker here I actually purchased for cheap, but it's an 8 amp 2-pole contactor, circuit breaker. So I can put one end on the input of my variac and one end on the output. It'll make it a bit more safer to operate. And I was also able to get this 20 amp 440 volt switch out of the HVAC unit. You can see it's pretty heavy duty. There we go. And I also found, this was not in the HVAC unit, but I also found this massive ceramic feed through, which is pretty cool. I'll definitely be using that for something, some high voltage, high current stuff, probably under vacuum. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for you here. I'll clean up all these parts, put them away and get back to making some stuff. So thanks for watching, please subscribe and leave comments.